a leader almost walked past his old friend until he recognized him. It was a bright, hot afternoon in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. President Ibrahim Traoré had just finished a surprise visit to a local school. His convoy waited at the curb, engines quietly humming when something caught his eye. By the roadside, slumped against a cracked, dusty wall, sat a man with a tin cup before him. His clothes were torn and stained, hair streaked with uneven patches of grey. His sunken eyes carried the weight of years of hardship. Passers-by moved on without a glance, as if he were part of the pavement. Ibrahim's brow furrowed. Why does he look familiar? Wait here, he told his security. His voice left no room for argument. The man looked up, squinting against the sunlight, his lips parted in disbelief. Ibrahim. His voice cracked. Ibrahim's chest tightened. Musa. He stepped closer, searching the gaunt face. Yes, it was him. Once full of life, now just a shadow. Musa tried to rise, knees trembling. It's really you, he whispered. It's me, Ibrahim said, gripping his shoulder. What happened to you? Tears welled in Musa's eyes, quickly brushed away. It's a long story, not one I ever thought I'd tell you. Not like this. Come with me. We'll talk. Musa glanced at his bare feet. I can't. Not like this. I'm not fit to enter your car. You're my friend. That's what matters. Ibrahim's tone left no space for refusal. Minutes later, Musa was at the presidential residence. He bathed, changed into clean clothes, and was seated before steaming dishes. He ate slowly, almost cautiously, as if the food might vanish. Between bites, his eyes flickered between gratitude and shame. When the plates were cleared, Ibrahim poured 2 glasses of juice and sat across from him. Now, he said gently, tell me, you were one of the brightest men I knew. What happened? Musa stared at the glass, then sighed. It started 3 years ago, he began. He spoke of his life as a respected school principal in Bobo de Lasso. How he built a small house from his savings and married a woman named Stella. At first, we were happy, or so I thought, but she grew distant, always on her phone, quick to snap over nothing. I thought it was stress. I ignored the signs. His voice faltered. One afternoon, I came home early and found her in our bed with another man. Ibrahim's jaw tightened. What did you do? I walked out, Musa whispered. I couldn't fight. I was shaking. And she didn't even apologize. She followed me outside and said it was over. Told me to leave my own house because he was the one she loved now. Ibrahim's eyes narrowed. Leave the house you built? Yes, Musa said bitterly. I refused. She took me to court, lied that she'd paid for the house, even brought fake documents. The judge believed her. I was thrown out. What about your job? I lost that, too. Every bit of savings went to lawyers. Soon, I had nothing. No home, no work, no dignity. I stayed with a friend, but shame ate at me. I left, ended up under bridges, begging for scraps, eating once a day if I was lucky. And every time I closed my eyes, I saw her laughing with him. His head bowed, tears slipping down his cheeks. I became a shadow. I wanted to die, Ibrahim. I truly wanted to die. President Ibrahim Traoré rose from his chair, his voice steady, but full of warmth. Musa, you didn't deserve any of this. But I promise you, your story will change. Musa's eyes lifted slowly. You still call me your friend. After seeing me like this, Ibrahim's gaze softened. Musa, I never stopped. That night, Musa slept soundly for the first time in years. Meanwhile, Ibrahim sat in his office, untouched papers scattered before him, his thoughts fixed on the man who had once stood by his side in school, sharing books, shielding him from bullies, urging him to dream. He gripped his pen with quiet resolve. I'll give him a fresh start. The next morning, Musa awoke to the scent of warm bread and fried eggs. The soft bed, clean sheets, and neatly folded clothes felt unreal compared to the cold pavement of the day before. A gentle knock sounded. "Come in," he said. A staff member entered with a tray. "Good morning, sir. The president asked me to serve you." Musa sat up, still stunned. "Thank you truly." As he ate, the thought kept repeating in his mind. Yesterday I was a beggar. Today I'm a guest in the presidential residence. What will tomorrow bring? Later in the garden, Ibrahim greeted him in simple clothes, his presence calm but commanding. "Musa, your story broke my heart," he said. "I didn't mean to bring trouble into your home," Musa murmured. "You didn't bring trouble," Ibrahim replied. "You brought truth, and truth should lead to action." "Action?" Musa asked, uncertain. "I've made arrangements," Ibrahim said. "This morning, you'll see a doctor. After that, there's somewhere I want to take you." By afternoon, Musa had been examined, given medicine, and received his first haircut in years. The man in the mirror was no longer the broken figure from the roadside. His eyes carried a faint spark. Ibrahim drove him to the city's edge, stopping before a small cream and brown house with a neat garden. "It's beautiful," Musa said quietly. "Whose is it?" "It's yours," Ibrahim replied with a smile. Musa's voice faltered. "Ibrahim, this is too much. It's fully paid. No one can take it from you," Ibrahim assured him. "Why would you do this for me?" Musa whispered. "Because I remember who you are," Ibrahim said, eyes glistening. "You gave me books when I had none. You defended me when I was alone. You believed in me before I believed in myself." Musa shook his head. "Overcome. I only did what friends do." "And now," Ibrahim said, placing a firm hand on his shoulder, "I'm doing the same." Inside, the home was warm and welcoming. A cozy living room, a clean kitchen, a bright bedroom, and even a small office with a desk and bookshelf. "I've also opened a bookshop and school supply store for you," Ibrahim added. "It's next to a secondary school. You'll run it, and I'll cover the first year's expenses. I know your love for education. Let's put it to use." Musa's hands trembled. For the first time in years, his tears were not from pain, but from hope. Over the next few weeks, Musa's life transformed. He ran the store with discipline and care. Students came daily for pens, notebooks, and textbooks. Some staying to ask questions about their studies. Musa never turned them away. "You can't just memorize," he told one boy, pointing at a math problem. "Understand the steps and the answer will follow." Word spread quickly. People in the community began greeting him again, not as a beggar, but as Mr. Musa, a man who had risen from the ground up. One Saturday afternoon, while arranging books, he heard a soft voice behind him. "Musa," he turned. The book nearly slipped from his hand. Standing at the door was Stella, his ex-wife. Her face was pale, her clothes plain and worn, her jewelry gone. Beside her sat a small suitcase. "Can we talk?" she asked quietly. Outside the shop, Musa folded his arms. "What do you want, Stella?" Tears filled her eyes. "I have nowhere to go. He left me. The man I chose over you sold our house, emptied my account, and ran off with another woman. I lost everything." Musa breathed deeply. "I'm sorry for what happened," she whispered. "And I'm asking if I can stay just for a while." He looked at her for a long moment. This was the woman who had once walked away without a backward glance. "Stella," he said calmly, "I forgave you long ago, but I've moved on. My life is peaceful now. You chose your road, and I've chosen mine." Her head dropped in shame. "Please, even just a room." "I wish you well," Musa replied, his voice steady. "But this is not your home." Without another word, he turned and walked back into the shop, heart pounding. That night, Musa called Ibrahim. "She came back," he said simply. And Ibrahim asked, I told her no. On the other end, Ibrahim's smile could be heard in his voice. I'm proud of you. You didn't just give me a house and a business, Musa said. You gave me back my dignity. Life settled into a quiet rhythm. The shop did well. Musa greeted each student and teacher warmly, becoming more than a shopkeeper. He was a helper, a listener, almost a father figure to many. One Friday morning, as he arranged pens on the counter, the bell above the door rang. A woman in a simple blue dress stepped in, her smile warm and eyes bright. Good morning, she said. Do you have senior school math textbooks? Yes, Musa replied. Come with me. She followed him to the shelf, chose what she needed, and returned to the counter. I've seen you before, she said as he packed the books. You help children who can't afford supplies. They remind me of who I used to be. Musa smiled. She extended her hand. I'm Grace. I teach at the secondary school nearby. He shook it. Musa, I own the shop. Her eyebrows lifted. That's wonderful. This place feels so welcoming. We need more people like you. Musa felt his heart quicken. It had been a long time since he'd spoken to a woman like this. Thank you, he said softly. You're kind. Weeks passed and Grace became a familiar part of Musa's days. Sometimes she came for teaching supplies, other times just to greet him. Their conversations grew warmer, often spilling into shared lunches she brought from home. Musa would walk her back to the school, and they'd swap stories, some bittersweet, others full of quiet laughter. Grace had known loss, too. A widow raising her daughter alone. She understood both grief and the slow work of healing. One evening, they sat outside the shop as the sky burned gold. You're a strong man, Grace said. Musa shook his head. I don't feel strong, just grateful I'm still here. No, she replied, her voice steady. You went through the fire and chose kindness. That's strength. Musa's eyes softened. I never thought I'd meet someone like you. Grace looked down, smiling faintly. And I never thought I'd smile like this again. That night, Musa called Ibrahim. I think I've met someone, he said. Ibrahim chuckled. Musa, the lover boy. Not like that, Musa laughed. She's different. Calm, wise, full of light. Then don't let that light go, Ibrahim said warmly. You deserve joy. Musa took his time. Grace's daughter, Rachel, soon began visiting the shop, helping arrange books, and sitting in the reading corner Musa built just for her. He treated her like his own child, teaching, encouraging, listening. One sunny afternoon, Musa invited Grace and Rachel to a quiet garden. Kneeling with a small ring in his hand, he said, I don't have much to give, but I have peace, respect, and love. Will you marry me? Tears welled in Grace's eyes. Yes, Musa. 1,000 times, yes. Rachel squealed and hugged them both. Their wedding was small, but full of joy. Friends, neighbors, and President Traoré attended. After the ceremony, Traoré pulled Musa aside. You look like a man who's found peace. I have, Musa replied. Ibrahim placed a hand on his shoulder. You found it because you never gave up. Months later, Musa's life was full. A loving wife, a daughter who adored him, a thriving business, and a home filled with laughter. He launched a foundation to help men who had lost everything, opening a shelter that offered training and small business skills. I was once on that street, Musa told the first group. One friend changed my story. Now I want to change yours. Across town, Stella sat alone in a rented room. She had called Musa many times, but he never answered. Once she went to his shop only to see a sign closed this week for family reasons. See you next week. In the window was a photo. Musa and Grace holding hands. Rachel smiling between them. Stella's vision blurred. She had once held everything and thrown it away. Now Musa had what she had never valued. Slowly, she turned from the shop and walked down the dusty road. This time, with nothing to her name, that evening, Musa sat on the porch with Grace, a warm cup of tea in hand. The night air was still, stars scattered like diamonds across the dark sky. "Do you think your ex-wife regrets it now?" Grace asked quietly. Musa looked up at the stars before answering. "Maybe, but that's not my concern anymore." Grace reached for his hand. "Let's keep writing new chapters," she whispered. He smiled, squeezing her fingers. "Beautiful ones." Musa's life was no longer just a personal victory. It was a living testimony. From sleeping on the streets to becoming a respected businessman, loving husband, and father, his story gave hope to many. The Musa Foundation had already helped over 50 men rebuild their lives. Some became mechanics, others opened small shops, barber stalls, or food stands. They all shared one thing in common. They believed again because Musa had believed in them first. One afternoon, President Ibrahim Traoré called. "I want you to speak at the National Youth Conference." He said, "Your story needs to be heard." When Musa's name was announced, he walked to the stage in a neat grey suit, head high. The applause was warm but respectful. He adjusted the microphone. "I was a man who lost everything," he began. "Not because I was lazy or foolish, but because I trusted the wrong person." He paused, scanning the audience. "My wife and her lover took everything from me. I was thrown out, mocked, and left with nothing but shame. But one hot afternoon, as I sat hungry on the street, a man I once helped found me." Musa glanced toward Ibrahim in the front row. "That man didn't pity me or pass me by. He lifted me up and reminded me that broken things can still be made beautiful again." The hall was silent. Then he smiled. "Today, I hold no anger. The best revenge is peace, joy, and moving forward. No matter how bad it gets, your story can change if you don't give up." The crowd rose to their feet in applause. That night, back in the garden, Rachel played with their puppy as Musa and Grace sat side by side. "Do you still think about her?" Grace asked. "Not with anger," Musa said. "Just wonder how someone can throw away gold and pick up sand." Grace laughed softly. "She lost a good man and I gained a queen," Musa replied, smiling at her. Far away, Stella worked in a small restaurant. The man she left Musa for had taken her money and left her in debt. The house she once took from him was gone. She had even tried to end her life once but survived. Sometimes she scrolled through Musa's photos online. The interviews, the smiling family, the joy, each one cut deep. The man she thought would be nothing without her had become more than she could imagine without her. A year later, Musa was invited to the presidential palace for dinner. In the garden, Ibrahim handed him a small box. "What's this?" Musa asked. "An award," Ibrahim said with a smile. "For your work with the Musa Foundation." Inside was a golden medal. Musa hugged his friend tightly. "You didn't just change my life," he said. "You gave me the chance to change others, too." "That's the power," Ibrahim replied, of one hand lifted in kindness. As the evening breeze moved through the garden, Musa looked up at the sky. "Who would have thought," he whispered, "that the man with nothing would one day have more than he ever dreamed?" His eyes shone, not with pain, but with joy. The past was gone. The future was bright. And this time, no one could take it away. No matter how far you fall, one act of kindness can be the first step back to hope. And the choice to rise is always yours. If this story inspired you, hit that like button, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Thank you for watching.